Hello folks, I'm here to show you my latest acquisition. What you can see is I have a new CZ. This is going to be an unboxing of my latest CZ. You could tell it's a CZ by the gold tabs, which is their trademark. And it's going to be a unboxing slash review. Here you see it. It is my new CZ 97B, and this is in 45 ACP. It's a really nice pistol. I was at a store and I happened to see it, and I decided to go grab it. And I just started the paperwork, and the guy that was in the store before me, he wanted to start a bidding war with me to get this firearm, and I wasn't going to have that. So I decided to just pick this up. And once you go in a store and you find a CZ that you really like, you need to just go after it. Uh, Let me just show you what it comes with. As usual, there's your cleaning cloth or rod, your brush, your barrel brush. Comes with a wrench, and it does come with two magazines, which are 10 rounders. Your usual things that come with CZ is your usual paperweight, and of course your instruction booklet. Your instruction booklet had that nice, neat information that you would need to know all about your new CZ and so forth. But my favorite is digging in the box is always the target information. With the target information, it comes with every CZ. I like the way the Europeans do this. You have the black dot there is for your mean point of impact, and then you have your point of aim, and of course where the actual round actually impacted the target. And this is computerized, what they do at the factory. I really kind of like dig this. I wish a lot of other manufacturers would do this, but it seems like it's a nice tight group over here with one flyer, and that's it for this. But I really like getting into these. As you see on the top right, which is in English, the make of the firearm, 45 ACP, so 25-meter shot, number of shots, which were probably 5, and it just gives you some other information. Let me just clear this up, and I'll get right into it with the pistol. Okay, here is the 97B. It's in 45 ACP, like I said earlier. One thing that's interesting, the first thing that'll get your attention is this front fiber optic sight right here. Well, let me get that focused in. That front fiber optic sight that you see over here. But what was a little bit of a downer was these regular dot sights that are in the back. These are just regular dot sights. They're a little bit kind of like scrunched together. But the one thing I was hoping it would be like have like night sights in the back, or something like a Trijicon night sight that's in the back. As you see, you have your front serrations on here for press checking. If you can get that for your front serrations for press checking. Of course, there's the rear serrations for racking, and the 97B, which means that it is a safety. This can be used as cocked and locked, like a 1911. Most people know that are CZ educated. They know that if it's 97B or 75B, that means it's going to be with the safety. And any model that's 97BD or 75BD is going to be the decocker version. There is a decocking version of this, but like I said, the store I go to, if it's there, you better grab it before somebody else does. I like the beaver tail. It's usually just like a 1911. And another thing that's really striking about this firearm is the grips here. These are aluminum grips. Usually you'll see these type of grips on their Shadow 2 line or the competition line of firearms. It's kind of, to me, it's kind of a cross between of a SP01 and the Shadow 2 version of the SP01. In the back, it has its regular straight serrations here, straight serrations in the front, and yes, there are their usual serrations for those who like to use their fingers to their index finger to grip the pistol. So that's what that's for. A lot of people like to use that particular grip. Full dust cover, but one thing that's pretty interesting is the front. And if you notice, if you look at the front, this has a bushing in the front with a spring plug right here and guide rod plug. And I'll get into the bushing in a moment, but that's one of the features you'll notice first. The fiber optic you'll notice, but something else that you'll notice is at the top here. Two things on the top. One is this is a chamber indicator right here at the top. If you load a round in here, and I didn't want to do that because it's unsafe to do that on camera here. If you load the firearm up, this silver piece here will stick up it's kind of tiny, but it will stick up enough so you'll see it to know that there is a round in the chamber when it's ready to go. It's ready. It's letting you know that there's a round in the chamber, and it will. If you fire it, it will definitely go. That didn't sound right, but you get the idea. It's basically a chamber indicator. This is the only pistol from the CZ line that I know of that has this chamber indicator, and it's kind of striking me a little funny that they do have a chamber indicator. It kind of reminds me of how the Springfield Armory has the XD line. They have like a chamber indicator tab that sticks up. Let me just show you about the trigger. The trigger here. Now it's in its full down position, but the trigger is pretty stout, but it is smooth. It breaks, and I'll show you where the break is. It's kind of smooth, and you hear that first click, and then there's like this wall right here, and then as you pull, you'll hear a click. Now I did say that it was in this full position where it's going to be fired from. That's the full position, but actually, when you load the firearm, this is not the decocking model, but if you do decide to lower the hammer, it will go into this position. This position here is what they call a quarter cock or half cock. A lot of people know that from 1911s. So when you have that in that quarter cock or half cock position, you'll notice that the trigger is different at this point. You'll see that it's moving, but it's not a gritty type of move in the front. So when you pull the trigger, you'll feel that wall right here. So you just have that wall here, and then as you pull, it's a little stiff, but it's smooth. Now, the brake, I'm just going to put this right here. Again, between here and right here is about where the wall is, and then as you pull the trigger, and then that's where it releases the hammer right there. So it's really releasing the hammer or disengaging the trigger right about here. So you have that distance. You have that distance right here to roughly about here. Now, I'm going to show you the reset in a moment. Just stand by. Sorry about that. It's hard to do that one-handed when you're using your cell phone to film these videos. But right here, if you notice the reset right here, you see my finger comes up on the trigger and it resets right there, that click right there. And then you hear that click, and it's that short. I'm going to do that again, set this up again on the camera. Okay, once again, as you see right here, my finger is right there. It comes to the reset right about there. You hear that audible click, and then you pull, and it's already there. So you won't feel like any type of grittiness. You just feel just that one little right there, just right here. You'll feel that little spacing right there, and then you feel that pull, and then that's the click right there. Now I'm going to show you some. Like I said, the only downfall I had with this is the sights at this point. But a lot of people would probably complain about the, let's say, the magazine capacity. Like I said, these magazines are 10 round capacity. Just for instance, this is my Glock 41. It's also a 45 as well, but it's at 13 round capacity versus 10. That's not a big deal. I shoot 1911s, and my 1911s are basically 7 or 8 round capacity. So it's not a big deal just to have 10 rounds in there. I'm going to break this down, but I'm going to have to break this down off camera a little bit because I'm only using one hand. One of the first things you want to do is you just break it down as regular with as like any other CZ pistol, which means that you would have to move it down, move the slide to this notch here. You just move it back. A lot of people that own CZs know this. You pull the slide back and you match it up, and then you push the slide release lever, and from there you're going to use your barrel bushing wrench, which I have right here, and I'm going to show you where that goes. Just stand by. Okay, I have it somewhat apart at this point. I just wanted to go step by step. Here are the internals. Inside here, I like the way the rail is supported. Inside here with the mechanisms, and you can see that really good. It's really clean. It's well clean. That's from a manufacturing standpoint, meaning that there are no burrs or anything like that inside. This gun was really oily. I had to wipe it down a little bit just to get this on camera for you guys because my hands were really getting oiled up. Right here, as you see, is your slide. Your slide right here in the back here. Of course, that's your plunger right there for your internal safety. And here, of course, this is your spring. And I'm going to break this down again. I'm sorry again for the pause. Okay, I have it broken down. As you see here, this is the plug that goes in here. I didn't take the barrel out, but this is the barrel. As you can see, it's a polished barrel. And as you can see, this is the barrel. This is the spring plug. It goes right inside here. So similar to like with a 1911. And of course, there's your spring. But what surprised me about this is, I guess they're trying to reduce weight. I believe this is close to 40 ounces, but this is a metal. Actually, yes. Wait a minute. Let me just check that to be sure. No, it's not. This is actually a plastic guide rod. It's really so. This must be a really reinforced guide rod because at first I couldn't tell at first, but yeah, this is a plastic guide rod. It's just really stiff and really strong because some people when they have plastic guide rods they tend to warp after a while. I don't. I know some people don't like these. They'll replace them with metal guide rods, but that's up to you. That's your choice at this point. The wrench here is to break down the bushing. The bushing is right here. One thing you have to be sure with this, make sure you line up the holes when you are unscrewing it. And also when the plug is the inside the frame here, you have to make sure that when you're wrenching this, that it's properly matched up. It has to be matched up with this plug. So let's see if I could do it this way. See where my finger is, where you see the bushing and you see that little curvature? It has to match like that. If you put it in like the wrong way like this, that gun's not secured. The slide's not going to function properly. So make sure it's matched up like in this configuration as opposed to like that. So make sure it's matched. And I'm going to put this right back together. Of course, everybody knows this is the internal slides. It works inside the frame. So give me a moment. I'll be back and I have to show you some more things on that. Okay, I just wanted to put this together a little bit to let you know what I'm talking about when I'm telling you to put the bushing in. As you see here, you got to, you have to turn it clockwise and make sure after it's done, when the bushing is in place, you have to make sure that the bushing and that the spring plug match up perfectly. And that's how it's supposed to look when it's matched up perfectly over there. Wow, that was a little bit of work. It was just tight fitting. I did it right one time before, and this time now that I'm on camera, putting it together, everything messes up when you get ready to do things on camera. Just to let you know, there were some other things I wanted to just show you some comparisons. Here's my SP01, just to show you the comparisons. They look quite similar, a little bit. They look quite similar. But as you see here, you see with the safety, the beaver tail, the grip angle is really good, especially on both. Actually, the SP01 feels a little bit heavier than this firearm, and I figured this would be, I think it's the way it's balanced out. Maybe that's why it's kind of like an illusion to me, but maybe it's because of the way it's balanced. Because this feels a little bit heavier. I think it's because it's the way it's balanced, maybe. But I think they are both at northward, going towards 40 ounces. Here is a bird's eye view of the, as you can see, when you put both guns together, SP01's base plate is sticking out a little more. And you can see that from here. As you see, the SP01 has the bigger base plate and that lanyard loop. And here's what I'm going to try to do, get a better angle on. I think I better do it this way. If you see that angle right there, this angle, you'll see that it looks like, for good reason, the 97B has to be a little wider because of it being a 45 ACP caliber. But it doesn't look extremely wide or too wide if you look. It doesn't look extremely wide like it's like a monster gun or something of that nature. And then again, in some spots, the SP01 looks like it's a little wide in some angles too. And I believe it's because maybe the dust cover at the bottom might be a little wider. Let me take a look at that. But it's probably an optical illusion on my part. But these are very, very, very well-made firearms. I did notice something a little different. If you look at the back if you look at the SPO1, is actually on the left, and if you look at the 97B, it has like a kind of like a pyramidish type back right here. If you look at the back here, kind of like a pyramidish look, like maybe kind of like the P09 a little bit, but not totally like the P09, but it's kind of like has that weird kind of like squared off side versus this one looks a little more square, but looks a little more like a pyramid. Uh, the SPO1's grip is a little fatter versus this one feels a little thinner, and I think that's the due to these grips right here, the aluminum grips. And taking a better look at it, it does look a little thinner, and I think when you look at it from this angle with the way it looks like a pyramid, it runs down the entire line of the firearm all the way down. And I don't know if you could see the angle of that. It looks like it's going all the way down the line of the firearm. Uh, and that's what I like about the CZ lines. They always have something or some type of feature that's different that people will like about their firearms. Well, I pretty much said it all. Like I said, the only con that I do have with this is just the sights right here. They look like they could have been bigger, or they could have been like a maybe like a target sight. There are models like this that have a target sight, but it kind of gives you that look of, like I said, the Shadow 2 and the SPO1 had this kind of baby, and this is what you got. Even though this is a big firearm, it feels very well balanced. By no means I'm trying to say that you can carry this like all day, and these are weighty guns, and they're weighty guns for a reason. This is basically probably a target gun, competition gun that you can use. I can recommend you to go to Such Double Ott's review of this gun, and he does a very good review on this. Also, you can go on to Patrick E. Kelly. I don't know if you know who he is, but Patrick E. Kelly takes a new gun out of the box and he'll put it in the Steel Challenge match. And he had this same gun. Well, he had the customized version of this. He had it from the CZ factory, the customized version of it. And he does wonders with this. Just check out his channel. So hopefully I'll be part of the CZ Mafia. That's a secret message over to Big Johnson. But hope you like this review and like this firearm. I can say if you're a collector of CZs, I recommend this to be part of your collection. Take care, folks. Happy shooting.